Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Trinea Reed, and I am the Workforce Development Manager here at the Amputee Coalition. And today's webinar is going to be on how to make a LinkedIn profile. So in today's session, we will learn the steps necessary to build a strong LinkedIn profile. And most of the information that we will be reviewing from today's webinar will be referenced from an article titled, How to Set Up an Effective LinkedIn Profile, a Guide for Beginners. So the importance of a LinkedIn profile. Why is a LinkedIn profile so important? This is because having and creating a LinkedIn profile can be a valuable resource for job seekers and those looking to advance within their careers. Within LinkedIn, users can search and apply for different job positions, build a professional network, and connect with job referrals and recruiters. So now we'll go over the different components of a LinkedIn profile. What components that are important to make sure that's being included on your LinkedIn profile as you're creating one. One of those components, the first component, is your profile picture. Having a professional headshot of yourself on your LinkedIn profile is an important component. A professional headshot can be taken within your home, for example, wearing professional attire and taking a selfie, or having someone take a photo of you behind a solid background within your home. So essentially, when you're taking your profile picture for LinkedIn, you want to make sure that it's on a solid background. I usually say maybe like a white background, and either you taking a selfie of yourself, just a headshot, or having someone take a picture for you, and a professional photo that you are able to upload to your LinkedIn profile. Here we'll see to the right a diagram on steps to be able to take the perfect profile picture for your LinkedIn account. Step number one, it says stand near a bright window and turn your body towards the light. So essentially, you want to make sure that when you are taking your photo, that it's in a lighted area, in a bright area, making sure that there's no shadows, holding the camera just above nose level. And of course, to smile, to have a picture where you're smiling and looking presentable. And then also taking several photos, so that way you have different photos to choose from, and being able to pick which photo you would like to put on your profile. Another component that's important for a LinkedIn profile is something that's called a headline. And the purpose of the headline within your LinkedIn profile is to have an employer or recruiter to be able to learn more about you specifically within the headline. The headline should be less than 250 words. So essentially, this is different from like the summary on LinkedIn. The headline is below the profile picture on your LinkedIn profile. As we see here, an example of Sherry's headline, you'll see the job title of the role Sherry wants to apply to, or what she's looking for. She also lists as important certification for her industry. She also lists her connection with veterans and other military spouses, and she puts that she's a military spouse. Keywords associated with Sherry's field, and helping X do Y headline formula, which we will go over in a little bit, the X, Y, and Z formula to use as you're creating your LinkedIn profile. But essentially, this here is a good example of what a headline should look like on your LinkedIn profile. And again, making sure that that headline is under 250 words. So another important component of a LinkedIn profile is the About section. So within the About section, components that are within your summary should include First, having a strong introduction, having your mission on what you hope to accomplish within your career of choice, explaining to employers and recruiters how the skills you have resonate with the jobs you're interested in. And finally, highlighting your strengths and accomplishments. So all of these components here are very important when thinking about building your about section. You know, specifically making sure that you have a strong introduction to really be able to show and display what you're hoping to accomplish within your career choice, as well as the type of career that you're hoping to transition into. Another important component of a LinkedIn profile is experience. So the experience section is to show evidence of growth within your career. It's important to include work history that is 10 years old or less on your profile. So essentially, you know, having your work history on your LinkedIn profile that's the most recent, normally is best to have on your profile, and it shows employers and recruiters, you know, your most up-to-date and recent work experience. Bullet points that you have on your resume could be used within your LinkedIn profile. So essentially, if you have any bullet points on your resume that you feel will help resonate with the job or the career industry that you're looking to get into, you could always take those bullet points and transition those onto your LinkedIn profile if it resonates with the job or the career that you're hoping to get into. So as we mentioned earlier, when showcasing your experience, LinkedIn does a good job about explaining the XYZ formula. And essentially the XYZ formula is used when you're trying to formulate bullet points and being able to talk about your experience within a certain job that you might have done in the past or your current job. So essentially the XYZ formula is accomplish X as measured by Y by doing Z. So essentially talking about your experience, how you accomplished that experience in measurable terms, and how you did that experience. So for example, grew revenue by 15 small business clients, which will be X, by 10% quarter over quarter, which will be Y, by mapping new software features as solutions to their business goals. So essentially, when you're talking about your experience, it's always important to talk about measurable goals. So this example is great because it talks about, growing revenue, but how much did you grow the revenue? You grew the revenue by 10% quarter over quarter. And how did you grow by 10%? You grew that by mapping new software features as solutions to their business goals. So this is kind of a good formula to use as you're starting to structure your experiences under your LinkedIn profile, to really have a good idea that, making sure that when you're talking about those experiences, that you have measurable goals and you talk about how you completed those goals. How did you get to that measurable goal? Another important component of a LinkedIn profile is the skills section. It's important to include skills and keywords within your LinkedIn profile, within your career of choice, to increase awareness for employers and recruiters. One strategy to use to search for skills and keywords to use on your profile could be to research job positions of interest and to identify the skills and keywords that are used within the job posting. So essentially, as you're researching different open job positions or job leads, whether that's through LinkedIn, whether that's through a site, such as Indeed, really being able to look at the skills and keywords that are within that job description. And just kind of see more of a pattern, if, for example, if we're looking into a job, position such as sales, in that job position, it might talk about customer service being very important and having customer service experience. So if you're looking into a job within sales, making sure that your LinkedIn profile reflects that, and having a bullet point within your LinkedIn profile to talk about customer service and ways that you were able to really gain customer service skills within your current employment or maybe previous employment that you had. Other resources such as ONET will allow you to search career fields of your choice and search skills and keywords that you're able to use for your LinkedIn profile. So for those who are not familiar with ONET, I highly recommend, checking out ONET. It's a great resource. Even, if you're still deciding, your career of choice or looking into a career industry, you could search whichever career industry that's of interest to you. And then from there, it'll have different keywords and skills and the education that's needed for you to be, equipped and to know what skills are important, what education is important for you to be able to transition into that skill set or that career field. It's also very beneficial when we talk about a LinkedIn profile because you will be able to pull the different skills or keywords that ONET might talk about within that particular job field and transitioning that onto your LinkedIn profile. Another important component of a LinkedIn profile is the recommendations section. So having recommendations, which includes endorsements or testimonials, are important to include within your LinkedIn profile. Endorsements or testimonials could come from colleagues, supervisors, and or any other professionals that you have worked closely with. The reason why recommendations are important is because it serves as credibility of the skills and experience that you have shared on your LinkedIn profile. So for example, if you say in your LinkedIn profile and you talk about on your LinkedIn profile that you have strong customer service skills, strong computer skills, whichever skills that you may list, having recommendations from maybe colleagues or supervisors that you have in the past to be able to back up to say, this person, yes, they do have strong communications or customer service skills, or they do have strong computer skills. And this is how they utilize those skills within the job position that I worked with them on. And this is how they did it. It just shows the recruiters or employers that are looking at your profile or professionals that, okay, the skills and experience that you have on there is credible because the recommendations or endorsements on the bottom of your LinkedIn page from others that you worked closely with reflects that. And here, just to wrap things up is the anatomy of a LinkedIn profile. So here you will see the different sections of a LinkedIn profile. If we start on the top here, where it says headline, your headline clearly states the type of work you do and includes industry-specific keywords a recruiter might search for. So again, the headline is something that's going to be right below your profile picture on your LinkedIn profile. And then here, if we go to profile picture, so your profile picture should be a clean, well-lit headshot that makes you appear dependable and friendly, preferably with a smile on your face. So again, wanting a profile picture that's professional, to show employers and recruiters as they're looking on your page, that you have a professional profile picture here when they log on to your LinkedIn profile. Another thing is, uploading a background photo that speaks to your career goals. Create a free banner using Canva. So I know LinkedIn does have a few different options for background photos, but it's always good to pick a background photo that kind of resonates with your career goals. So, for example, if you're looking into job positions within nursing, maybe trying to find a background photo that resonates with the nursing field, things of that nature. But if you click here with that little icon of a pencil, and you click there to edit, normally they have different background photos that you could choose from. Another important thing that I like to highlight is a custom URL. This is something that's very important and is used a lot within resumes. Having a custom URL, specifically your LinkedIn URL on your resume. So essentially, when you're creating your resume and you have your name and your phone number and your email, placing your URL, your LinkedIn URL under that is always beneficial, because it gives recruiters and employers the opportunity to search your LinkedIn profile if they're wanting to learn more about you. So I always recommend adding that URL for your LinkedIn profile on your resume. If we scroll down here, you'll see it'll say select a metropolitan location that's closest to where you want to work. So essentially, kind of picking, the major city of where you're from. So for example, if you're from Texas, for example, and you're near Dallas, kind of setting your location to Dallas, Texas, because that's the nearest major city near you. So it's always important to set kind of like a metropolitan location, a central location that's closest to you. Here you could also customize your open to work job search preferences and make them visible to all LinkedIn users or recruiters only. And then again, as we talked about with the pencil icon, this is where you could go to make changes to each section of your profile. So you'll see one here under the headliner. There'll be one for the background photo, as well as the profile picture. And there should be one for the summary section as well, as you're building out your summary section. So now I'm going to leave it up for questions. If anyone has any questions about what we talked about when it comes to building a LinkedIn profile. And before we go into Q&A, I just want to thank everyone for joining the call today. And if you have any additional questions about what we talked about on the webinar, or interested in our workforce development program, my contact information is here, my email, as well as our phone number here at the Amputee Coalition. Just a little bit about our workforce development program. If we have a program that's designed to assist those with limb loss and limb difference with starting work or returning back to work. And we have a series of different webinars that we held previously and that we will have in the future that's related to different job related topics on, interviewing and how to talk to an employer and how to send thank you notes to an employer. So definitely keep an eye out for our upcoming webinars. And if you're interested in being part of our workforce development program, on our Amputee Coalition website, there'll be a tab for our workforce development webpage. And there you'll see a link to be able to register and be a participant within our workforce development program. So if you have any additional questions, definitely feel free to email me or give me a call. But now I'm going to open it up for Q&A. So here I see Alexis's comment about ONET. Yeah, I mean, ONET is such a valuable resource in that, if you're interested in a certain job field, or you're not sure if that job field might not be for you, or you're just kind of hesitant about, which job field to transition to next, or which job field to go into, ONET is a fantastic resource just to utilize, to be able to look at the tasks of the job, the responsibilities, the skills and that's necessary, and the education that's necessary. Also with ONET, you could put in the state that you reside in or your zip code, and it will show you how many jobs or the percentage of jobs in that particular career field, based on like a 5-year to 10-year scale. So it's a really, really great resource. Do we have any questions, or does anyone have any questions on the webinar and the LinkedIn, how to build a LinkedIn profile? Does anyone want to share maybe how they went about making their LinkedIn profile, and maybe tips or tricks that was helpful for them? That could also be very helpful for those who might have not made a LinkedIn profile yet and is in the beginning stages of making a profile. So if there's anyone that wants to share their experience with making a LinkedIn profile, I think that would be very beneficial for those that's on the call. Well, I'll share a little bit about my experience when it came to making a LinkedIn profile, for myself. I think when it comes to making a LinkedIn profile, it's something that, that you're constantly changing or you're constantly updating. And, as maybe you're going into a career field or doing a certification or training or a volunteer opportunity that resonates with what your career field is or the career field that you're trying to get into, I think it's always important to kind of look at a LinkedIn profile as a way of constantly changing and constantly updating that. Once you make a LinkedIn profile, it's not something that you just make and then it's like, okay, I made it and it's fine. It's something that you want to continue to keep reviewing and looking over to make sure that the experience or the opportunities that you're part of currently reflects what you're doing in your LinkedIn profile. And then also too, with LinkedIn, as I mentioned, it's a very valuable resource when it comes to, if you're looking to apply for different job positions. LinkedIn has kind of like a job board platform that they utilize. They have a lot of employers and recruiters looking at applicants or those who are interested in different job positions and maybe feel that that employer has an opening for. So it's always good, to keep your LinkedIn profile active and current. And then also too, LinkedIn has a lot of great valuable resources on, different work-related articles and things of that nature. So highly recommend, if you're not connected to LinkedIn, or you don't utilize LinkedIn much and you might be trying to transition onto your career journey or maybe transfer to a different career field or starting employment for the first time, I highly recommend using LinkedIn because it is a really, really great resource. If we don't have any further questions, again, thank you so much for joining our webinar today on how to build a LinkedIn profile. And if you have any additional questions, I could be reached through email or phone. But very, very thankful to have each and every one of you on the call this afternoon, and definitely reach out if I could assist in any way with your career journey or if you have any questions about our workforce development program. I hope you guys have a great day.